Are you ready for a different side of real estate investing? There's already lots of information out there on the wins, the winning recipes, and the immediate results that those recipes produced. There's not enough out there in terms of true adversity and the growth that was required to overcome that adversity, and then the very sustainable, long-term, beneficial, positive results of having performed that growth. It could be in your business, it could be in your personal. The two are undeniably linked. When we improve our business, that feeds our business. When we improve our business, that feeds our personal. They're very much one and the same. And so it could span across the two. Welcome to the Hidden Upside podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shabib. And over the last 25 years, across 3 different careers, 2 different countries, I've noticed a very undeniable pattern. And that is when we are faced with adversity, we have a choice to either stay or grow. Whenever that growth happens, it inevitably produces positive results, as tough as the growth might be. I'll give you an example. When I was in my technology career in Silicon Valley, technology was taking a bit of a hit. The company that I was in was taking a bit of a hit. The CEO resigned, and over the next 2 years, we had 8 different CEOs come in. The tough part of this was that each CEO came in and did almost the identical pattern. They would hold a town hall. They would say, this isn't that tough. Let's just trim some fat. They do a round of layoffs. That would put us into the black for a very short period of time. But often those cuts were not operationally sustainable. They didn't understand the business well enough, or so it seemed, to be able to make those cuts in a sustainable way. And so very shortly after, we would start to slide back into the red. In comes the next CEO. He would do very much the same pattern. The company environment was quite stressful and very tumultuous. And one might look at that and say, well, where's the upside in that? Where's the positive in that? There's an expression, I believe, by I believe Nelson Mandela, one of my favorites actually, which is, I never lose, I either win or I learn. And so that's not an explicit winning environment that I just described, but there was a lot of learning to be done, which led to more wins. So for me, it was 2 things. One is that it really punctuated and crystallized the pitfall of commiseration. Misery loves company. In that tumultuous and stressful environment, it was very easy to get that short-term win of talking to somebody about how tough the environment was. But there's a saying that says, the degree to which we achieve inner peace is governed by the strength of the correlation between our inner beliefs and our outer actions. That's just a way to say that if we're not doing what we know to be right, we will be unhappy as a result. For me, commiseration doesn't align with who I am aiming to be. It doesn't align with the energy I want to emit. It doesn't align with my idea of accountability for myself. So that short-term win ultimately leads to a disharmony internally, and that's not a win. That was, the lesson number 1 for me, and it really crystallized and punctuated that for me. Second one was, I was compelled to go find a new way to think about things, new information, a new lens to look through, a new paradigm to operate from. That led me to Jack Welch's book, From the Gut. Now, Jack Welch is a very polarizing figure. The point isn't whether you like Jack Welch or not, or even whether you adopt all of his philosophies or mindset. But for me, there were a couple of key takeaways that really did help. One was his very pragmatic view of business. For me personally, that was valuable because I needed to move the needle a little bit more toward pragmatism in how I was digesting the environment that I was in. Second thing from that is related but different, and that is his concept of change, right? And that is, when change is inevitable, the quicker that you adopt and embrace that change, the more value and the quicker you are able to provide value to yourself and, more importantly, the people around you. Meaning, don't resist it. When it's inevitable and it's happening, then embrace it and start to be an advocate for that change, not somebody who resists it. That is a very valuable thing in the environment that I was in. More than that, though, it's a valuable thing in terms of that is now part of my target, what I aim to achieve. It's a tool in my toolbox that I use in my business and my personal life. Both of those things, commiseration and the pitfall and the inner beliefs and outer actions, and change and pragmatism, those things are now part of what I use going forward across different countries, across different careers, across business, across personal. Very, very valuable for me. There's lots more to be said about how those lessons came to be, but it's a quick example of the hidden upside, right? And Nelson Mandela's saying, I never lose, I either win or I learn. Well, lots of learning in that environment. And that is the sustainable, ongoing learning that helps from situation to situation, regardless of the details. I look forward to discovering the hidden upside with you. I look forward to the guests that we'll have on the show in order to be able to share their hidden upsides with you. And I look forward to seeing you on an upcoming episode.